Oh, hello. Day 3 of area of composite figures, or maybe day 4, I'm not sure. You guys are improving. I see it online with your scores. I know that this can be a frustrating topic because all it takes is one wrong number you plug in, one wrong calculation, um, and it can throw it all off, and it makes you feel like you don't get any of it. Where really it's just little bits and pieces that are throwing you off. Okay, so stay strong, persevere, and we can really get everybody having success here. All right. I want you to follow these 4 steps. I know I'm not there to look over your shoulder and say, hey, show your work, but it really does help, especially in these longer problems where there's lots of ways that you could get off track and mess up. So, first step, cut the shape up and draw the individual shapes. Okay, so I notice here that I have half a circle, a semicircle, but then the other half is on the other side. So what I end up with is a full circle. Then I have a rectangle. I know it looks like a square, but it's not. It's a rectangle. Although you find the area the same way for rectangles and squares, so it wouldn't really mess you up. All right, second step, write the formulas. You have the formulas in your textbook. You have the formulas on that formula sheet that I posted in Google Classroom, and you can write them down in a notebook. All right, but it's key to have them handy, so when you need them, you can copy them. All right, pi r squared is the area of a circle, and then the area of a rectangle is base times height. Okay, so now what are we going to do? We're going to substitute in. So these formulas tell us exactly what we need. Now we know we can use 3.14 as an approximation for pi. And then the radius. We need the radius, so we look over at this length here, and we notice that all the way across this circle is 8. So that's not our radius, that is our diameter. So what we need to do is we need to cut that in half and get 4 for just the radius. That's from here to here. All right, so we can plug in 4 squared. Another place you could go wrong is forgetting what squaring something means. Squaring something means 4 times 4. So that would be 3.14 times 16, right? It means the base times itself. Whatever that little power is over top of, that's what you're going to times by itself. All right, now 3.14 times 16, 3.14 times, oops, I already did it. There it is, 50.24. 50.24. 50.24. What type of units is that? That would be square units. So yards squared. And then we have our area of the rectangle. And if we get rid of all this stuff and we look at this again, we notice that, remember, bases and heights are always meeting at a right angle. So we have the right angle there, and we have this length of 8 and this length of 9. So we have 8 by 9, and we can substitute that in. So 9 times 8, and don't need a calculator there. I know my 9 times table. That'd be 72. All right, and our last step is to add them up. So we're going to add 50.24, get that. We get 24 hundredths, 2 and 12, so 122.24. It looks like they rounded, and it looks like they didn't use 3.14 as their approximation. They must use pi because they get a different rounded answer here. But the answer is going to be B. That's good to know. If you use a different approximation on a multiple choice test, sometimes your answer won't be exactly the answer given, but that you have to be flexible to realize that different approximations of pi will give you different answers, but they're going to be very close, only off by a decimal point, like a tenth or a hundredth or something like that. All right, next one, number 2. Let's do it. Now there's several different ways you could chop this up. All right, I'm going to show you where I'm just going to chop this little piece off here, and I'm going to have a small rectangle, and I'm going to have the large rectangle. You could chop it up, let's see, different color here. You could chop it up like this and make a rectangle like that and a rectangle over here. All right, you're gonna get the same answer as long as you do it correctly. But I'm just gonna show you this method this way here. So we wrote our shapes. Now we're gonna write the formula. So we have area equals base times height and area equals base times height. Remember, these are parallelograms. They're a special type of parallelogram called a rectangle because they have right angles, but we use the parallelogram formula. All right, so let's look at this smaller one. Uh-oh, we don't know either dimension. We don't know this guy, and we don't know this guy. So how are we going to figure those out? Well, let's start with this horizontal line here. We have to look at the other horizontal lines. So that's 12, and that's 9. If we go and subtract those, we get 12 minus 9, which is 3. So we have 3 inches for that dimension. Now let's go and look at the vertical lines because we're looking for this dimension here. And we see this whole length is 7 and this length is 4. So 7 minus 4 is 3. So that is a 3 by 3 square, and we're ready to plug it in. So base times height. So the area of that little block there is going to be 9. And what type of units? Inches squared or square inches. Let's do the next one. All right, I'm going to erase some of this so I can pay attention. One little mistake that happens when we're doing this is you pick the wrong numbers. Some of you might do 9 here as the length of this part, but remember this line should go all the way across, so we don't want to choose the 9 here. We want to choose the 12 inches. All right, and we don't want to choose the 7 because that goes all the way down. We just want to choose the 4 here. All right, so that's a 12 by 4. So let's plug that in, 12 by 4. And that's going to give us 48. So last step, 48 and 9 gives us 57 inches squared. B. I hope this is helping. I hope there's little things that focus you in on the right answers. And I believe this is our last one, is it? Yeah, just 3 problems today. So let's get after it. Let's try this last one. Oh, good. I'm so glad that they used this shape so we could use a different formula. All right, this gazebo in the local park has these dimensions, and let's see. All right, so I really wish that they would say that they would let you know that this is a regular hexagon. Regular meaning that all the angles and side lengths are the same. It's like the perfect hexagon, right? No, it's not crooked or misshapen. It's perfect, because then it would show you that, right, if we cut it there, that this top part and this bottom part are the same. So then we can just find one of them and double it. I wish they made that clear, but they didn't. But that's what they're expecting you to do. Find the area of a trapezoid and then double it. So we have that trapezoid, right? What's our first step? Cut it up and draw the picture. All right. Now we have this bottom trapezoid, which is the same exact one, just kind of like reflected down below. So I keep forgetting to breathe, so I'm taking these deep breaths. Sorry about that if it's distracting. But second step, write down the formula. All right, so that's 1/2 the height times base 1 plus base 2. Just remember the two bases are the parallel lines, and now they only give you those dimensions, so this one, it should be pretty simple. Okay, so we have the height here. The height meets the base at right angles, and so they showed this over here, this 4, kind of showing you the height is going to be 4, and then we have the base of 11 and the base of 5. So then we have half. Well, let's do the parentheses first. So that's going to be 16 times 4 times 1/2. And then we have half of 4 is 2 times 16. So So that gives us 32 as our total for that. And then this guy up here is going to be also 32 because it's the same thing. So 32 plus 32, or 32 times 2, is 64 meters squared. All right, hopefully that helps. Now, you should be emailing me if you have any trouble or trying to contact me so I can help you with stuff. But when you email, be specific and try to let me know exactly where you're going wrong. Specific things. I'm being bombarded with emails all day from students who are missing work or can't find something, and so it's just hard for me if the email's vague for me to meet your needs specifically. So just be specific in your communication, and hopefully we can get everybody on track. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.